What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, a lot of moving parts are going on right now in the boxing world for the lower weight classes.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis had a great win last night. We saw George Kambosos upset Teofimo Lopez the weekend before that. And now we've got Comey versus Lomachenko. This is going to be an excellent fight. Comey's a guy they shared an opponent in Lopez. Both lost to Lopez. Comey was knocked out. Lomachenko was defeated by decision, but Comey also has a lot of knockouts on his record. 30 wins, 27 knockouts. Dangerous opponent for Lomachenko. He's the big favorite, though.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see this one. And, you know, when you have a common opponent, it does kind of let you, us fans, into like what might happen. We like to do boxing math, or as we call it, MMA math when we're talking about MMA fights. And it never adds up. But it is at least fun to speculate on it, and it brings up a conversation, right?
Right.
So Lomachenko's a big favorite in this one, and for the right reasons. Teofimo Lopez fought a perfect fight when he fought Lomachenko. Lomachenko was dealing with some shoulder issues, and to me, it felt like he just never got going until it was too late.
Yeah.
And the second half of that fight was all about Lomachenko, but the first 7-8 rounds were all about Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was just, he caught lightning in a bottle at that point. And if they ran it back, I do kind of feel like Lomachenko would likely get his hand raised. But, in boxing, if you lose a couple of fights, they wash you up. They say, okay, wash our hands with him because he's too old or something like that. But I think Lomachenko still is one of the highest skilled boxers that's currently fighting right now, definitely contending for titles. And I can see him climbing his way back up to the top and being a force to be reckoned with against all the guys that are currently holding belts. And I'd really love to see him in there with somebody a little bit more high level than a Comey, but he's going to have to be very careful because this guy's got a lot of knockouts, so he's clearly got a lot of power that is going to be a threat for Lomachenko.
Yeah, Richard Comey's also 34 years old. Lomachenko's usually the older guy in the ring, so he's actually going to be the younger guy this time. And I still think he's got a couple good years left in him. And I agree with you. It was like almost if you divided the fight with Lopez into thirds, Lomachenko dominated the final third of that fight.
Right.
The first third of the fight was clearly Lopez, and then he was able to squeeze 2 of the 3 rounds in the middle third, which ultimately won him the decision. Yeah. And I think it was just a matter of not getting going fast enough. However, he showed us that he corrected that problem against Nakatani.
Yeah.
In his next fight, he came out and he finished Nakatani in the 9th round, but he was throwing leather from pretty early on in that fight.
Yeah.
So I do expect this to be an exciting fight. And while Richard Comey, I don't believe, is quite to the level of Lomachenko, he is powerful. Yeah. And if Lomachenko starts to try to get going early, then Comey's going to try to start get going early as well. Yeah. And we could see a fantastic fight. Prediction-wise, I think Lomachenko is going to win this fight by technical knockout. I do think it's going to take some rounds. Comey's only been finished once by Teofimo, who's a very heavy-handed fighter. All of his other losses, only 2 of them, have been by decision. So I do believe that it's going to take some time and some volume to get him out of there, but I'm looking for it to happen in the 9th round.
Yeah, and Comey better be on his A-game because ever since Lomachenko lost, he sort of seemed like a man on a mission and has a point to prove. And I feel like when he's operating at that matrix level, that next level, it's unlike anything else. It's, in my opinion, the only thing that competes with it is the most exciting thing in boxing is Tyson Fury when he gets going, and that really has to do with the size and all of that. The heavyweight division just kind of has this feeling around it. It kind of has an aura around it. Lomachenko operating at that frequency where he's just moving all around you and right in punching range and not getting hit and slipping and moving. And it's a thing of beauty. It's my favorite thing to watch in boxing. And I think we're going to see that come out. He's really good with his footwork. He's really good at not getting hit, engaging on his terms, getting off tons of offense. I feel like, I don't know Anatoly Lomachenko, but I can assume that they always speak and their saying is the best defense is a ton of offense.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They come at you really, really, really nonstop and like gung-ho. And that kind of freezes their opponents and makes them just play defense. And when you think it's going to be your turn to finally get some offense off, they just keep coming at you. And then they wind up either taking you out or just tearing you up with the points. So Lomachenko is always fun to watch. I feel like this is going to be another statement victory for him. And you're going kind of later in the fight finish.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little bit earlier than that. I think he's going to get this older gentleman out in about the 6th or 7th round, but it's going to be crazy while it lasts. I think watch for Lomachenko to come out and collect data for about 1 or 2 rounds, and then bring the tidal wave, come around 3, and just move into a finish.
Yeah, the matrix that he possesses is just a thing of beauty, and
So
it's one
cool.
of the most exciting things to watch. You know, most people love a big knockout, and I'm a sucker for a big knockout myself.
Yeah.
But really incredible head movement and foot movement where you're just embarrassing an opponent to where they're just hitting air is equally as exciting to me. And it takes just as much, if not more, skill than to find that perfectly placed knockout shot. So I love Lomachenko for that reason. I do think that he made a mistake against Lopez waiting too long to get going. He paid for it. I truly believe that's the only true loss he has in his career. The other loss, I think, should have been a win. But had he corrected a few things in that Lopez fight, things could be very different right now, and we could be looking at some major showdowns. But even still, I think with a win over Comey here, Tank doing what he did last night, and Devin Haney and Kambosos looking like they're pretty much coupled up at this point, I think a fight with Tank, if Lomachenko has a statement win here, would be fantastic. And there's an expiration date on that fight because Lomachenko is not getting any younger.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of shoulder surgeries. And if we're going to make that fight to where it's competitive and exciting, I do believe it needs to happen in the next 2 years. So I'd love to see him get a victory here over Comey. I am predicting him to do that. And then I'd love to see him fight Tank Davis because you're talking about 2 very different styles, but 2 incredibly skilled boxers. Both, one kind of coming into his prime and one reaching the back end of his prime, but both in a place where they could come together in a competitive way.
Yeah, get him in there now because we don't have that window open for very long. And I'd love to see that. It's a dream matchup for me. I think whoever wins would really benefit greatly from that. A win for Lomachenko over Gervonta would be huge. A win for Gervonta over Lomachenko would be massive too. So I think it would do good numbers. Lomachenko is one of those guys that even though he's not a Conor McGregor or even a Tyson Fury, he is a star. People really like to watch him, and it's because he's so entertaining with his boxing. That's something rare. You know, Conor McGregor tends to have to rely on the entertainment aspect, and then obviously he backs it up with amazing fighting, you know, more so in his past than his most recent fights. But Lomachenko doesn't really do a whole lot of talking. He'll poke and prod a little bit with his opponents, but it's mostly just flawless technique, amazing boxing skills, and that matrix style that leaves people, even people that don't know much about boxing, with their jaw on the ground going, wait, what am I watching? Because this guy is like, even as somebody who doesn't know boxing at all, I'm enjoying this, and it seems like that's high-level boxing. So I really like it. I got him winning this fight. I think it's going to be a finish, probably a technical knockout. We might see, him get tested with a little bit of power early on, but I think he's going to deal with Comey's power and then cruise into a big fight after this one.
I think so, and I think we just did a video talking about how Tank can become a pay-per-view draw, a good fight, and if he could get it, a win against Lomachenko would take him to that next level.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Drop us a comment. Let us know, is Richard Comey going to pull the upset here, or is Lomachenko going to cruise his way to victory and then potentially a mega fight thereafter? We always love chatting with you guys in the comments. If you're new here, guys, we talk about all things combat sport, MMA, boxing, YouTube boxing, you name it, it's here. If that's your thing, a subscribe to the channel is much appreciated, and we will see you in the next video.
Peace.